Just answering questions with WebTech. So you think $32 million stock put on MGM is standard trading? A person worth billions of dollars doesn't care about a $32 million goddamn experimental buyout or whatever. And you have to look up what a put option is. You can look up stockoptionschannel.com, slideshows, call options, and put options. Bar chart, same thing, or anything else, and look up what are the largest puts that are done and by who. Or you can look up that person's record of doing them. This is about MGM standard trading being not in the $32 million activity range by really rich people in the United States or internationally. When you can look on page 14 of the previous year and the same thing was done. Let's ignore that. Let's ignore history. That way we don't have to deal with it. I now realize why WebTech's videos just show your face only in the dark chamber. I need a distraction-free environment where someone can't come up and get behind me and mug for the camera for the 50th time today, and where the sound level at least is reinforced enough that I know that I'll be heard on the recording over the Jake-breaking cars or drunks at the other location I sit at. And now you'll use the word drunk and soundbite it and prove a point. You have your head up your ass. Soros isn't stupid, and putting $32 million up as a bet against a thriving company failing without inside knowledge. No. The inside knowledge or insider trading you're talking about was a different event just a little while earlier. You're getting them confused. And by the way, that wasn't Soros. That was another person. Why are you bringing up Soros? There was another person that I was talking about, honestly. Or was it Soros? I don't know. We all get confused, don't we? Maybe you should talk about the other video about the other person who's accused of the same thing. And again, you can look at the previous year where around the same time the same thing happened. So we have to ignore these things. There's a bunch of videos debunking this. Do you go around telling everybody the same thing? What I just watch isn't as important as me feels? And it would be stupid for him to do this. He has a ridiculous amount of money, and he doesn't do something stupid because he can get away with it. Maybe he's doing it so he can create a loss leader. Maybe he's doing it to force his income down below a certain point so he doesn't have to pay high personal taxes. You can listen to these people talk to you about what they do with their stock money. They actually explain this crap. Why don't you do that? Do your own research. I'm just not interested in talking to you about that. It's not standard trading for a head of a company to declare a stock split and then sell the majority of his personal holdings. Do you have proof that that's exactly what he did with the majority of his personal holdings versus the majority of his holdings in one company out of hundreds he has money in? Really? You're wording it that way, knowing full well that you're lying to me now. Or not. Someone else gets to check it. I'm done. I did the research. You ignored it. That apparently is our role in life. It shows a lack of faith in the company you're leading. Do you really believe people who run large corporations have faith in their own company? Sometimes the best thing is to bet against your own company. Right? Did I mention a insider trading thing where anyway. There are so many obvious points of contention that can contrast the story that you must have limited cognition, or you're afraid to accept evil exists. I know evil exists. You're representing it. You ignore reality, post bullshit, try to derail discussions, try to get people at each other's throats, and deflect from the evildoer who did the shooting because you want to exonerate the devil. You're evil, not me. I'm the one who looks for facts. You're the one who lies about them. Fuck off. WebTech is lying to himself. Okay. We're done with that part, okay? Okay. Now we're going to get to the assertion stack. Yes, it's a gish gallop. Let's get it done. Let's take our medicine. Where's the pile of spent casings in Paddock's room that accumulate from hundreds of rounds being fired from a single or two locations? They're on the ground. The second location didn't have all of them. It had a smaller number, a very small number. The other room had all of them pretty much piled up right in front of that damn window, and there's a picture of it. You had to literally ignore that. Some of the casings may have fallen out of the window, I don't know, but the majority of them are there. That's nowhere near enough. Now we're quibbling. Where are they? They're on the floor. Why don't I have a picture of them? There is a picture of them. Don't blame me for the police department and the FBI refusing to do something simple. Take a very comprehensive set of photos before somebody got in and screwed up the crime scene. As soon as the scene was secured so nobody could be hurt, everybody should have been told, you're leaving, all of your body cams are taken away from you, all of it will be dumped to a file set, and you are getting fingerprinted. And then they should have imaged everything with an overhead cam method and a center-placed 45-degree angle spread on each side, that's 90 degrees, to look in each corner. Done. Why is it clearly evident? Shots, no, you can't debunk that. Shut up. No more prefacing. Let's just get to what you say and actually rip apart the way you say it later. Shots are heard from different locations, because the recordings are at different locations and the timings aren't exact. They're further apart than the two adjacent rooms. Audio reflection. That's been found to be true, and it fits. If you're going to say there's a second shooter, where is he? Okay, then we test every shot against it and find the shots for there. The only two locations that work are Paddock's room or coincidentally exactly straight up and down on top of the tram roof. That's it. The majority of them all match up perfectly with Paddock's room. The rest don't. They all have more discrepancies. It's the most likely location. It could have been either room. Why would an officer report an active shooter in the fairgrounds at Gate 7? Because that's where he was sitting, and that's where he was told a shooter was. He's repeating a report. Just like everybody else, people repeating that they thought there was somebody at the Tropicana. People reporting that there was a shooting going on while they were standing at one location or another. Not that that's where the shooter was. Where's the shooting? I'm reporting a shooting from Fairgrounds Gate 7. Where are you? Fairgrounds Gate 7. Why are you reporting a shooting there? No, there isn't a shooting there. I'm here and I'm reporting. Nobody actually specifies that. That's pretty specific for someone trained in firearms. Why would that be specific for someone trained in firearms? I'm going to leave that comment up. Why is there a discrepancy with the Southwest Airlines flight transponder above the roof of Mandalay Bay? A jumbo jet cannot stop mid-flight. You're looking at flight radar yada yada that gets things wrong. It was a helicopter. What time of day was it? It wasn't during the shooting, was it? You do know that flight radar yada yada, whatever website you went to, has erroneous data that sometimes they don't correct. Yes, a jumbo jet cannot stop mid-flight, alter direction, or hover. FAA flight records are available, and if you read the flight records instead of the website, you'd find out it was a helicopter. The website gets confused about that stuff, and sometimes even the FAA transponder data gets confused. The only thing in the area that could have done it would have been a helicopter. So why aren't you understanding that was a damned helicopter? And what does that got to do with anything? Please stop. And you spelled it. You misspelled it. You're supposed to say Hoover, not hover. FAA flight records. Educate yourself. Wake up the sheeple. Go to hell. There are a lot of BS out there being discussed, but there is also a lot of real evidence that only a fool could ignore. You're calling a person a fool because they ignore you, not the evidence. The evidence doesn't point where you say it does because it's been debunked. The Flight Radar website isn't useful for that. Stop watching Hoover's channel. Stop it. He's feeding you bull. I will leave you with this. The military's TARP sharpshooter couldn't put 2 rounds in the same body at that distance. Bullshit, I can do that. I'm not even a military trained anything. I can do that. All you have to have is a gun with a consistent grouping at 1 foot at 300 yards, or make it 1,000 yards. Do you understand why a sharpshooter would use a gun that was better than this crap? But yeah, you can actually do it with an AR-15. You can also do it with the real good guns that he was trying to do. You're claiming the military can't hit a bullet casing at 1,000 yards, aren't you? Okay, fine. If somebody wants to give me an exact copy of the same gun, it has to be exact copy, confirmed. I'll go ahead and sit down and look up how to bullseye a gun, how to zero a gun. That's how you zero it. You progressively zero it until it's good. Then you just swing it around and shoot. It just has to be steady. It's not I've built sharpshooter guns. Wrong neighborhood, mofo. Next. No, I built them. They're just long guns. Anyway. Let alone 3 rounds, which somehow only females acquired. This is that he shot women more often than men thing. People were hit. The bullets aren't in their bodies. The bullets went through lots of people because there was a crowd of people condensed together. Some people got hit twice. That's what would happen in a crowd that size. That's what happened. Go look at any channel at this point that is different than Hoover, but please go look at Mr. Visual's page and just watch all of Mr. Visual's channel, please. I don't know what really happened or the scope of all those involved. It was one person, and your ignorance is not evidence. Only an idiot would defend an obvious cover-up. Only an idiot would create one so that they didn't have to admit that one person can be a monster enough to do evil and get away with it because assholes like you keep being apologists for monsters. Paddock killed people. Stop it trying to exonerate him. Educate yourself. And get bent. Now, I have a request here. Here we go. Is it possible for WAPTEC to look into the Mexico Solar Observatory that was recently shut down? Okay. What is the process for someone sending 100,000 overseas? Is there a hold? What kind of options would be available to Paddock? Is it instant? Can you elaborate, please? I'll go ahead and do a video on how to do this, but here's the problem with it. If you're in good standing with a bank, they don't give a damn. They'll transfer anything as long as it's below a certain percentage of the amount of money you have. And the easy thing in the world, and I already know this from running a business, you just do a different transfer at a different time and transfer the money back. If you show a pattern of being safe to do this, if you transfer from one account to another earlier at a smaller amount, they're more inclined to let the larger amount go through, as long as you do something simple. Make sure it's to a location that the U.S. government doesn't forbid this from happening. The Philippines is not on the forbidden list as far as I know. But he could have also paid a very large premium and signed a bunch of paperwork and waiver for it. But I will do a video on that. Thank you for your reasonable question, as well as the one about the Mexico Solar Observatory. As for it being recently shut down, I'm smelling a conspiracy theory about Nibiru here. Now, to review, unless you know how stock put options work, nobody does, you don't know how much the upper limit is. You don't know if Soros or the other guy actually did this on a regular basis or with other things. If you're only concentrating a look at the Mandalay Bay and MGM, you're going to have tunnel vision about everything else the person does. Next, this isn't their first rodeo. It's what they do to make a living. Next, doing a gish gallop about spent casings when there's a photo. Shots supposedly heard from different locations when that's already been debunked, because the only location that matches up with the majority of shots is one, and there's no reason to have another shooter if it's random locations hovering in the air when there wasn't a helicopter hoovers. It's a dumb idea. Why would an officer report something at a location? Because he was told that at that location by that person. And it's not pretty specific information for someone trained in firearms to mention something firearms-based. That doesn't make sense. It would be weird if it was not specific. And as for discrepancies you're getting on a website that states ahead of time that they don't keep the information accurate, is to be expected. And no, it wasn't a jumbo jet that was being tracked. It was probably a helicopter, and it probably got the information mixed up because it's dealing with a badly done database. And yes, you can check the FIA records, and they may have an actual listing of where that plane was. Would you mind including the link to your proof not on a website notorious for making mistakes like Flight Radar or whatever? And then dead last, again, I'll look into the observatory, and yes, I'll look into the $100,000 transfer because someone asked nicely instead of being a complete pissant. Goodbye. Thank you.